What's going on, Reject Nation? Greg and John here. We're gonna watch today from WatchMojo top 10 biggest changes in Zack Snyder's Justice League from Whedon to the original. So a couple of things gotta mention. Reaction highlights for YouTube are being worked on, and we're gonna start rolling them out into several parts next week. So watch everyone else's who are up, and then watch ours next week. The full length is up on Patreon. If you want to sync up, watch along with us, that's on our Patreon right now. Secondly, we're doing a spoiler talk today. Prepare you some questions and whatever if you want to chime in and hang out with us. All things Snyder Cut. Figured, you know, we're likely to miss a question that people will be like, why didn't you talk about this? So if we're live, it'll be only you to blame.
No excuse.
Anyway, before we go to that spoiler talk, this might be a good video to kick us off right into it. Let's do it.
You said you'd come. Now that's hope. You're not too late.
Oh,
Welcome to WatchMojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 biggest changes in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
The time has come. Take up your mother's
No, that's
fight.
the Whedon cut.
You want to kill me? I'm your best friend.
Life. But turned into this.
For this list, we're looking at the most significant tweaks
Oh,
Zack Snyder made
do
to
you
his
remember
long-awaited
that?
director's cut of Justice.
How far have we come? Well, remember the just storyboards. Oh, the beauty. I'm pausing way too early, but damn, how far have we come? Oh.
The joy is radiating.
Significant tweaks Zack Snyder made to his long-awaited director's cut of Justice League. Do you think these changes improved the film?
Yes.
Let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
And as you might imagine, a spoiler alert is now in effect. Number 10, the final battle.
I'm gonna take out that tower and knock down that shield dome. You get to Steppenwolf.
Watching the theatrical cut of Justice League, the climax caught us off guard with its reddish-orange skies and hellish imagery.
It's so
it looked
weird
nothing like the
looking
dark
at this.
blue backgrounds in the early trailers, which we honestly found more atmospheric. Snyder restored the blue hues for the final battle, although that's not the only change. Joss Whedon added that random Russian family in his version.
Everyone
saying
loves
that he
that
wanted
Russian
to
family.
Show, quote, what it's like for the people on the ground.
Who picks this place to put down roots?
People that have been kicked out of everywhere else.
While we get where Whedon was coming from, this subplot didn't contribute much, and the family wasn't sorely missed in the Snyder Cut. Steppenwolf receives a more violent end as well, earning that R
shit
rating.
was so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Number 9, Martian Manhunter.
Okay, yeah, going back to the final battle, it's bizarre because like both my fiance and I, we really enjoyed the Joss Whedon one for the Saturday morning cartoon it was. We were defenders of it, but I've always championed this cut. I gotta make that clear. I've always championed it, always thought it'd be better still, as much as I enjoyed and it's so weird to watch this movie and go, oh, I don't like that other cut anymore.
That Saturday morning charm is all gone.
It's all gone. It's just like, oh,
doesn't
it just
work
ruined.
anymore.
All I did was ruin it.
Now it's just a reminder of how much worse everything got to get to that tone.
And now looking at even just these final moments of the big battle, I'm like, I don't even recall the big superhero, the crazy cool superhero shot. You know, great. Like that's a moment I want to talk about in the spoiler talk. Yeah. Is when the shot, the superhero pose in the battle when Batman's driving his car, and it shows how great my brain is right now. It's gonna be a great spoiler talk.
Batman's on a cruise.
When Batman's in his like car and Cyborg's flying, you know the hero shot I'm talking about. Like when you get to that shot, you're like, oh, the Justice League, they're teaming up. Oh, and that's not even like that's the early part of the battle. You know,
It's like we're getting to business.
Number 9, Martian Manhunter.
Oh, and some call me the Martian Manhunter.
John Jones, better known as Martian Manhunter, is one of several heroes we had hoped to see in the theatrical cut.
Allies from other worlds.
While we got no such appearance in that version, Snyder initially had plans for the character. On a commentary track for the ultimate cut of Batman vs. Superman, Snyder mentioned that Martian Manhunter was Lieutenant General Calvin Swanwick incognito.
What's your source on this? A tinfoil hat?
In a storyboard that didn't make Whedon's version, Martian Manhunter was going to visit Lois Lane's apartment under the guise of Martha Kent. while actor Harry Lennix previously appeared in Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. The Snyder Cut officially solidified Swanwick and Martian Manhunter as one and the same.
Oh yeah.
The world needs you too, Lois.
I missed those
Number
Daily
8,
Planet articles.
new music by Junkie XL.
That's the hero shot I'm talking about.
Yeah. There it is in all of its glory.
But talking about Martian Manhunter real quick, rewatching on the second time, it's one of those cases where it does feel like if we get the other Justice Leagues, it'll feel more necessary to have Martian Manhunter in here.
Yeah.
That's one part of it that I was like, okay, yeah, you work for the setup, but in terms of like completing this one tale, it's like a good teaser of what's more to come with you, Martian Manhunter. And of course, getting like there's things about it that I love, and there's other parts about it where I'm nitpicky. You know? And I'm admittedly nitpicky because I'm not really like, no, I could do without it. Yeah, by the time you get like that end tease, you're like, okay, this feels like a little bit like it doesn't need to be here for this one. But if we do get Justice League 2 and 3, or even just 2,
Yeah.
then I'm like, all right, okay, good, perfect. That's perfect. You know?
Well, yeah, because like one thing I think we've all learned from looking at how at least Zack Snyder's films have gone is that a lot of things, I mean, not everyone gets the benefit of 3 films to build on some of these, but that's part of the charm, I think, is that he does establish certain things that maybe at first feel like they're not entirely necessary or whatever, but then grow in significance, and then later you're like, damn, I'm glad that they actually stuck to that. So yeah.
That's currently where I've heard that complaint about Martian Manhunter, and I mean, come on, the visual effects on them look so cool.
Yeah.
They look great. They look great.
And just to make it clear, my only nitpicky part comes in from like the very end. I actually really like the fact that we have the confirmation that General Swanwick was in fact Martian Manhunter this whole time, and I really like the scene between when he was disguised as Martha Kent while talking with Lois Lane. So yeah, you know, overall, I'm very enthused that Martian Manhunter got to appear in here.
And it was interesting too, going back and watching Man of Steel and BVS and watching Harry Lennix in there. Not so much in the Man of Steel, but in BVS, I'm like, I can see how he's Martian Manhunter. In BVS, I was able to see it.
Number 8, new music by Junkie XL. Whatever your thoughts on Snyder's filmmaking style are, his movies almost always have amazing soundtracks. Junkie XL, aka Tom Holkenborg, collaborated with fellow composer Hans Zimmer on Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman.
Zack is so good at build-up.
He was set to work on
When you get
Justice
to the
League as
finale
well,
moments
but
of his
Danny
shit, it's
Elfman
so good.
replaced him.
And like the use of the music,
Oh yeah.
and that great blurred shot for some reason.
Elfman usually goes hand in hand with DC projects, and while his Justice League score wasn't bad, it was a far cry from his Batman days.
Yeah.
Junkie XL was brought back on board for the Snyder Cut, and his music did not disappoint, particularly the Crew at War Power track.
It's a great soundtrack.
Yeah, man.
Worked out to
Number
it.
7, Steppenwolf's Up.
I will say, though, like, I undoubtedly prefer it's an infinitely superior, more powerful soundtrack as opposed to the Whedon version. I think for Whedon's version, the Elfman score works, though. To be as, like, fair as possible.
Yeah, of course. To that tone and what they were going for with that, it's a lot more appropriate.
You know what else I want to point out? So this shot, for some reason, in Whedon's cut is blurred. All right, and it doesn't need to be. Gordon's got glasses on.
I know.
It doesn't need to be blurred. I realized this shot is infinitely more powerful. Even if it was blurred in Zack Snyder's version, it's not, but if it was, it's infinitely more powerful in the moment because in Zack Snyder's Justice League, this is the first time you're seeing him in the Batsuit, like an hour and a half into the movie.
Yeah.
Where in the other one, he's like, you know, he gets the guy from Mindhunters and is like, I need fear sweat or something, you know, at the very top of the movie. Like Gotham looked cool in that sequence, but this is a really rewarding shot, and it warrants this level of Dawn of Batman, and because of when it occurs in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Steppenwolf's updated design.
Oh yeah, we know all about this one.
My lord.
For many, one of the theatrical version's biggest letdowns was its villain.
Now do you see it?
Aside from being far less interesting than his comic book counterpart, Steppenwolf had a generic look obviously rendered through CGI. While Snyder's Steppenwolf is still clearly draped in CG, his design is a vast upgrade. Not only is his armor infinitely less silly, but Steppenwolf's facial features are far more atrocious. In a good way. While a cooler look is one thing, the Snyder Cut also delves deeper into Steppenwolf's backstory and motivation, as well as his dynamic with Darkseid. That said, Steppenwolf isn't the only major antagonist this time around.
It shall be so, my master.
Number 6, more Aquaman.
I mean, number 6 could be more of everyone.
Yeah, more Cyborg, more Flash.
What I really noticed about Steppenwolf in this version especially, beyond just the writing, the design with his eyes specifically breathe a lot more humanity. When he's in Steppenwolf armor, he's really terrifying, and like while he's like gross to look at, he just has his regular self. There's this pain and loss in his eyes.
Yeah,
you know,
got a lot of expression.
There's like real solemn guy underneath it all. He's like sad, but bluntly, and I love that with his portrayal. Like you get that just in his eyes alone.
Before James Wan made Aquaman one of the DCEU's MVPs, Justice League didn't give Jason Momoa a ton to work with. Aside from that one infamous line,
My man.
it's hard to even remember what Arthur Curry did in that version.
He sat on the lasso.
Yeah, it was funny.
Originally, Snyder planned to set the stage for Wan's film. Aside from giving Mara a more prominent role, Willem Dafoe shot a scene as Snyders Volko.
The time has come. Take up your mother's trident.
There was also to be
has
more
5
exploration
prongs.
of Atlantis' mythos and development for Arthur himself. Number 5, building a better cyborg.
Oh, when he smiles. Oh, that little smile right there.
Out of the central 6 heroes, Cyborg is arguably the one who got the shortest end of the stick in the original version.
If these
I don't know.
I'm not the one paying for them.
The film did little to flesh out Victor Stone's life before his accident, his relationship with his father, or his personality. Virtually everything about the character is improved upon in the Snyder Cut, although the CG can still be hit and miss. Nevertheless, Stone finally emerges as somebody we root for and empathize with, as opposed to just another member of the team. Snyder described Cyborg as, quote, the heart of the movie, which shines through in the final product. We're still waiting to hear more about that standalone Cyborg movie, but his development here has us more optimistic.
You use that power to keep me alive. Alive. But turned into this.
Number 4, Superman.
I just realized maybe HBO Max can give him and Zack Snyder a solo Cyborg movie.
Oh, they could.
There are some moments that really got me mad that they're not in the moments that I'm like, this could have fit. You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the upsetting
Like,
part.
what were you thinking?
Sometimes there are moments where you're like, okay, I get you were going for a certain runtime, but you still could have fit this in.
Yeah.
Especially the scene with his all the football stuff and his mom are the things that really got to me.
Oh, of course. We don't need to care about our heroes.
And then same thing with Aquaman too. Absolutely, he undoubtedly gets way more. He is awesome.
And way more presence, just like way more gravity on screen. Like you can really feel everyone's character they built underneath the dialogue too in this cut.
Yeah, you know, man, like the Aquaman stuff is, like, I love Jason Momoa's performance.
Yeah.
I love all their performances, but Jason Momoa was the one where I wasn't expecting to love his work that much more.
Yeah, right? And it's not even like he has like a like there's some more Atlantis scenes, but I mean, he's got just some different tone to the way they capture him in Zack's version, yeah.
And then Volko, take up your mother's trident.
I'm gonna change my hair after you do. It's set up for that elf cut.
My name's Mira.
You know, in the first scene I was cool with it, and then when she came back later, I was like, "Oh, what happened to your accent?" Like I was just talking this up
the way you filmed this 2 years ago was a lot better than when you came back.
Didn't you get the dialect coach too?
Superman in Black.
All the hopes and dreams of Krypton live in you now.
I'm so proud of you, son.
We get that Whedon was going for a more lighthearted tone with his Justice League, but why lose Soup's black suit? It's one of the most memorable aspects of the death of Superman's story arc. With Superman's inevitable return, we all assumed he'd dress in black for the occasion.
I believe in truth. But I'm also a big fan of Josstice.
Instead, Whedon opted for traditional red and blue. The Snyder cut finally
Big
sees
fan.
Henry Cavill don the black suit.
This is so goofy now. And that music too.
Yeah.
This version also restored the deleted scene where Soups meets Alfred.
I'm assuming you're Alfred.
Master Kent.
Overall, the Superman here is significantly different than in Whedon's interpretation, particularly around the upper lip.
Yes, ma'am.
Number 3, Iris West and...
Yeah, there's a lot of pausing here. The Superman's line when he finally shows up at the coolest, most badass moment, the axe just lands on him and just goes, not impressed. I'm just like, oh, it's so badass.
Such a good line.
And then here,
It's not obvious.
Whatever this line is like, I actually really liked Henry Cavill in the Joss Whedon cut.
I did too.
I thought he was really fun. And to be fair, it's actually easier for them to have kept the red blue suit because that's what they shot it in.
Yeah.
And then Zack changed it. Like his plan was to always change it. Zack is just really good CGI that it looks like he's wearing an actual black suit and you never think it's a color corrected suit.
Yeah.
It's weird because as much as like Superman was arguably my favorite part of the Joss Whedon part, I do prefer this take. It's weird. Anything I liked a lot about, I prefer here. And then a lot became really bad in my eyes.
Oh yeah, because I mean, like it's fun, and there is a sort of classic Superman-ness that Josstice League eventually captures. But this just,
especially the race with him and Flash at the end.
Yeah, like that's a lot of like there's some fun stuff there, but I feel like what we lose in fun, we make up for in Zack's version with just actual heart and actual just like character catharsis. You know?
Yeah, and it feels like the Clark Kent that is actually established.
Yeah, it feels like the
not
completion.
rewriting Clark Kent.
It feels like the completion of his arc in a way over these 3 movies, and ironically, as he meets more super folks, he fully comes into himself.
Yeah, I guess that's one scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League I would have liked, a scene of Superman just interacting with the team.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like a kind of one beat that would have been like, oh, it would have been cool to just see them like actually all talking with him, especially when Flash does have that line of "he was my hero."
Yeah,
I would have liked to have one scene where they're all
like a shawarma scene.
Yeah, they should have got Joss Whedon.
Bring him back. Hey, I know there's been some bad blood, but we want a post-credits scene where everyone's getting food. You down?
Iris West and The Flash.
I'm so sorry. I'm late.
This list is basically more of this person, more of this person,
Barry
more of
Allen
this.
is another character who got
this got cut
shortchanged
out.
in the theatrical cut. You know, there's more to The Flash than quips.
Dostoevsky.
Dan
The
Murrell's
Snyder
favorite
Cut makes
line.
more of an effort to explore the death of Barry's mother, the incarceration of his father, and his romance with Iris West. Actress Kiersey Clemons was going to make her DCEU debut as Iris in Justice League, but her contributions were left on the cutting room floor.
Did anyone else think that he was gonna jokingly put a hot dog in her mouth?
I did. I was like, is this gonna go full on? Is this gonna try to one up Justice League in terms of goofy humor topics?
I was like, I don't think this will go over well. Put it in his pocket. It was funnier.
Iris finally appeared in this version, most prominently during a scene where Barry saves her from a potentially fatal car accident.
Fatal. All right, yeah.
Snyder also aimed to make more sense of the future Flash from Batman vs. Superman, which ties into our next entry. Number 2, Jared Leto as the Joker.
A truce. Bruce.
After the mostly negative reception to Suicide Squad, Joaquin Phoenix's Oscar-winning portrayal of Joker, and not even getting a cameo in Birds of Prey, Jared Leto's future in the DCEU seemed to be up in the air. So you can imagine our surprise when Leto popped up at the end of the Snyder Cut's trailer, complete with longer hair and messier lips.
We live in a society. Isn't that right? Batman.
They don't say that
Batman
line.
encounters
don't,
Joker
and I love
in the
how they
nightmare
cut it
future,
here.
where society has become much, much stranger.
You want to kill me? I'm your best friend.
Although Snyder didn't originally intend to incorporate the Joker, Leto was enlisted after the director's cut got the go-ahead. Joker plays an important role in this version, having stolen the mother box that allows the Flash to travel back in time.
Really?
Is that the context of this?
Oh, we should have watched some ending explain video.
That's the next reaction.
I did not know that.
If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings.
That's why Zach threw us off with like the police badges and all this other stuff.
Number 1, Darkseid.
That is the biggest change, yeah.
He's actually in this.
And he's an integral
Darkseid
part.
wouldn't be the central villain in the theatrical cut. At the very least, though, we thought the film would set him up for future installments. Aside from a brief mention, Darkseid was a no-show.
For the unity. For Darkseid.
The trailers for the Snyder Cut quickly established that Darkseid would play a meatier role in this version. Portrayed by Ray Porter, Darkseid made his long-awaited live-action film debut here.
I will stride across their bones and bask in the glow of anti-life, and all of existence shall be mine.
This version also made room for some of Darkseid's followers, including Darkseid and Granny Goodness. While we're sure the DCEU has even bigger plans for Darkseid and Apocalypse, this was a satisfying taste, for now. Do you agree with our picks?
Great job, WatchMojo. That was a fun-ass video. And yeah, I would agree, Darkseid is the biggest one, considering he is a character who is woven in throughout, is mentioned throughout, and is completely eliminated at all costs in the other one.
The other version.
Because yeah, a lot of it is like redone or expanding upon, and like, yeah, we don't get any Iris West. That is one scene though. And
that's a whole context with Darkseid.
But yeah, with Darkseid, yeah, it just made it completely redefined. Steppenwolf, it is such a major part of it. And what's great is like Darkseid, it easily could have just been a character who is only there to set up for a sequel, but he feels necessary to be in this one as well.
He feels like a driving force for a lot of this action.
He seems like he's a character who does set up the sequels, but he's very integral to being in this installment. Especially for the scenes with Steppenwolf that he has. And it's great because anytime he is on screen, yeah, he commands. Like, I know it's two different people. Like, there's Ray Porter doing the voice, and then there's whoever does the mocap. Either way, like, whenever he's on screen, it's magnifico.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, he's got
It
so
really
much
is.
presence. It's like Steppenwolf gets better by being a character at all in this cut, and also therefore even more so by having an actual like organization, a whole world. Like there's a whole world that comes with Darkseid. That yeah, like to take that out of the Joss Whedon cut and then to water down Steppenwolf so much, I just can't imagine what they were thinking. Because at least if they had done Steppenwolf but kept Darkseid, that would have at least been a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Or had more motivation behind it than seeming just like, yeah, just throw a villain in there because we're doing supers.
All right, guys. Well, right now it's 12:45. We should be doing a live stream in a couple hours. And hopefully I'm able to make it in time and get this video up. Subscribe, click the notification bell, hit that like button. We'll catch you guys soon.